Hello everyone, welcome back to my craft room. Today I'm excited. I'm going to try something I haven't done before. I'm going to use a wreath kit to make a fall scarecrow swag. So I've made swags before, but I've never used any of the wreath kits. So today I'm going to just go at it first time with you guys, see how things turn out. And we'll see if you guys see anything, you have suggestions, let me know. And type them down in the comments and we'll find it out. But this is a wreath kit. So you purchase the little things here. Here's a picture on the back that shows you kind of what their idea is of how you'd use it. And then here's all the pieces, a 5-piece set. So I thought this guy was cute. We'll take him out and put him in a swag. I've seen some other tutorials on using the wreath kits in a swag. Craftoutlet.com, where I purchased this. They have one. And then also Trendy Tree has done one too. They're very, very cute. So I've never used one before, so we'll see how it turns out with you guys, and hopefully everything looks good. If not, nothing will be permanent as far as the Scarecrow's concerned. I'm not going to glue him in. I'm just going to secure him in. But everything else I'm doing, I got some flowers over here. You guys can see. I got some picks and some pumpkins and berries and ribbon, and we'll see exactly how great it looks in the end, and how wonderful we can get this all to turn out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my Facebook Live on here so I can follow along with your comments if there's anybody that has any questions while I'm making it. It's not popping up yet on here. If there's anybody that has any questions while I'm making it, I can at least try to follow along with some comments over here off to the side, and then we'll see how everything goes. I'm going to post this onto my Facebook page, of course, after. Onto my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching the playback. We're not live now, but if you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and I will get back to you as soon as I'm notified that I have them. So I'm going to set this guy up right over here. And let's see, hopefully this isn't going to fall. If it does, we'll figure it out. So what I'm going to do is just show you guys exactly what all my supplies that I have for it. This particular swag is, this is how it comes this way. I've fluffed out this side already. This is a swag. If you're not familiar with a swag, it's just basically a piece of evergreen. Now these things come like dried. You can get eucalyptus, you can get all kinds of, you can get them dried, artificial. I've seen some really pretty real ones at Christmas time with actual real pine. This right here I purchased at ChristmasCentral.com. They were very inexpensive. Now I live here in Las Vegas, so I haven't seen any swags in stores. I didn't see any at Hobby Lobby when I looked a couple days ago, and I haven't seen any inside Michael's either. So our major craft stores out here don't seem to be carrying swags. There's also something called a teardrop swag. This is just your average swag. They're meant to be, you know, their intention is to be sideways like this. You put something here and then sprays and flowers come out this way. Today we're going to use this one vertically. So the scarecrow head will be here. His legs and body will be down here. I'm going to put a bow in the middle, but I haven't been able to find them. I bought these online a couple years ago. I just checked their website, ChristmasCentral.com. Still sells these. This is a 28-inch deluxe Windsor pine swag. This was they're about $7.99 each on their website. There are some other swags out there that are pretty expensive. You can get much larger ones. You can get ones with, you know, a variation of greenery in it. They're going to cost a lot more money. I've seen some go up to just $32 just for one. Depending on what your needs are and what you plan on making, have at it. I only wanted them to be a certain size because basically you're going to see a little bit of pine when we're done, but you're not going to see a lot. I've only made a couple other swags, but I've used one, or I have two that I've made as a centerpiece. I can show you guys here. They were for Christmas last year. Here's this guy. So at the end, this is a centerpiece. So this is going to sit on the table this way. And what I did was I kind of nestled some candelabra sticks here and here. So I had, you know, candles lit. Not real candles. This stuff, you know, mesh and this stuff is all flammable. So you can get LED taper candles now, but also there was a couple pedestals, and I had LED candles on a table. So this is one that I used for Christmas. And you could still put this on a wall, I guess, or on a door. But this is basically, I was using it as a centerpiece. And then there's this guy here that I put a really big poinsettia in. You can see that there. Same thing. See this on the back, it's the same swag. And I've added mesh and some berries and more ribbon. And this is also a centerpiece. So that's basically what I have. My door swag I don't have because I did sell it last year. But this one is going to be our next door swag, and we'll see exactly how wonderful it turns out. So I was fluffing as I was speaking, but obviously, you know, this one right here, it ships to you pretty flat. I mean, it's squished down so you can fit. I bought 25 of them, so they sent me in a big lot. They're all squished down like this on this side. I've fluffed this one out, so we're going to fluff this side out too. And since this is going to be a fairly full piece or a large piece, we're going to, let's see here, just recently found you on YouTube. Love your ideas. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for joining. It's nice to hear you guys from YouTube or coming over to Facebook. So this is going to be posted on YouTube too after I'm done. So it's very nice to have you. I appreciate it. I'm going to fluff this guy out. So with my Scarecrow guy here, this kit we're going to use, we're going to be putting a lot of different picks and pumpkins and some ribbon and those things inside of it. What I want to do is I need to add a little substance to the middle of it. So you can use mesh, burlap, ribbon, or regular burlap, thicker burlap. You want to put some towards the center of this. Gives a little bit of a base for things to hold on to once we start gluing into it. I'm not going to glue anything until I get my Scarecrow in first because I don't know. I've never done it before, so I don't know exactly how to secure him in or what he's going to look like. And every piece of him, he's got 5 pieces, every piece of him has wires on it, so I'm going to be able to secure it to the middle of this swag. But what I need to do is put some more thickness to the middle of this swag. So here, all I've done was, oh, I'm sorry, you guys can actually see my workspace. All I did here was I was just pulling and, you know, adjusting, and all of this is wire. So you can pull this part up towards the middle, this out here. It has some extra extension pieces that come off of the base here. You lift those up, lift that up. So it's just fluffing it, kind of like if anybody has a artificial Christmas tree. I have a very large one that is 9 feet tall, and I'm kind of not fond of heights, but I did that to myself, so now I have to get on a ladder every year to decorate it, which I'm excited to say I'm going to be doing a time lapse of my fall tree, my harvest tree. So that's gonna be coming out soon. Probably within the next month and a half. I have to get all of my fall stuff out and prepped, and then with my husband's help, you guys will see him in the video too, because he's the one that puts the tree together. Mostly I help a little bit, but the thing is heavy and big, and again, lots of ladders involved. So there'll be a time lapse of, like, you can see the tree go up and you'll see everything I do to it, and then you guys get to take a peek at what I call a harvest tree. So that's going to come up next. And this is all you have to do this on your Christmas tree too. I have an artificial Christmas tree, so you're just pulling things out, moving them, and then we're also going to be bending all this around, and then you're going to want to readjust all this stuff again at the bottom or at the end. This actual tag that came from the company is kind of really just knotted up in here. I don't really know how to get. I'm just going to have to cut it even shorter. It's just a little tiny cotton tag. I don't think it's going to be the end all, but it's just a little tedious to get that out, and I'll probably work on that later. That way you guys don't have to watch me do that. So I just got the tag off. Here's where we're starting. We got a basic evergreen swag. So as you can see through that. See all the holes? You guys can see straight through that and see the light behind it. We need it to be a lot thicker in the middle so that we can actually put our little guy in the middle. So, and then here's the back if you guys want to take a peek at that. I'm going to add a little hanger towards the top here because when we're done, this is how it's going to hang on the door. We're going to be using it vertically today instead of horizontal. So this is the swag. This is what we have. I'm going to set this guy aside here and show you guys this. This is similar to Deco Mesh, but it is actually burlap. Now, I purchased this at Walmart, I think. It was a long time ago when Deco Mesh first got really popular and came out, and everybody was racing around trying to get it. I got this at Walmart, and it actually says that it's mesh ribbon, but if you guys can see here, that's burlap. That is not deck. I mean, that's not mesh. That's just burlap. And this is, it says 9 feet, but I don't know exactly how wide it is. This is 11 inches wide, so this is going to give me a good amount of thickness and bulkiness in the center. So I'm going to do a little ruffle thing. I've done another ruffle technique on actual Deco Mesh on a tinsel wreath that I made, and so you guys can see that one too. But this right here is just your this is just a it's actually pretty thick too and dense. You can kind of see through it a little bit, if you see there, but it's not exactly crazy with the big holes in it, but it's pretty thick. So there's also alternatives too. If you can't find this, because I bought this a long time ago, you can get different thicknesses of just burlap ribbon, or even I have a table runner. I bought those on clearance, I think Pier 1 or all the stores that do all this stuff, all the decorations every year. When they go on clearance, you can get really pretty things and really good amount of ideas for supplies, pretty cheap. I got a table runner that's about, I think it's wider than this. So if this was 11, it was probably closer to 15 inches wide. Yeah, it's maybe like 15 inches wide. That was burlap. You could cut that up and use that as well. Here I have another idea here. This is just burlap ribbon that you can get at Hobby Lobby. It's got more holes in it, but it's pretty thick. It's got substance to it. So you'll see that there may be instances where you can't see the burlap as much once we're finished, but it's not really the purpose to actually be decorative. This is more functional, but if it is seen, it's a complementing color, and you're going to see a little bit, it'll pop through the pine, this nice dark green color, it'll pop, and you'll see pieces of it, but I'm using it specifically in order to have something for all of their goodies to hold on to. And so, move this guy back here, this guy too. What I want to do here is, I'm going to cut some strips, but I don't want to cut too many because I really don't like having too many leftovers or cut pieces that are left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these probably, I don't know if I want to do, I do 9 inches for the other wreath. I think because of this, of how wide this is 11. If I do 11 by 11, that's basically a square, so I'm just going to cut this in like 11-inch pieces, and then let me do a test here. This little ruffle technique, this is what a lot of people use for Deco Mesh too. You just cut your piece here in the middle, and then you're folding it here. These edges are the finished edges. Your top and bottom are your cut edges, so if you have some, it's going to unravel, it's normal. This is where you're going to take it, and you're just going to start pinching in the middle and gathering it. So I just want to test to see how long this is, to see if you're getting a good ruffle. And see there, you got a good ruffle on each side. We're going to place that in there. So I'm just going to cut basically 11 by 11. So if you have some Deco Mesh or other burlap or ribbon, those types of things that isn't 11 wide, whatever thickness it is, just cut it the same length long and for squares. I'm assuming that should work as good. And just cut one, test it out. If it doesn't look good to you, or you don't seem to think that that's going to work out possibly the way you want it to for your project, then cut another piece a little bit longer. Test everything out, and still include it in your project. If this first one didn't work out, I'd find a way to put it in there. I don't like really wasting that many things. I'm probably not alone in the every other crafter who saves a lot of stuff. I save a lot of clippings, a lot of things like that. That way everything can be repurposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cut 5 pieces. I'm just going to start with 6 right now. And then if I have to cut more, I will as we go. I've also heard there's also a disclaimer too when you're working with burlap to make sure you're wearing like a dust mask if you work with it a lot. If you're going to be doing a long, if you're going to be exposed to it a long amount of times, I guess there's little fibers in it that can get into your lungs and cause damage. A lot of people who work with burlap frequently have some issues. So I have heard that. I cut 6 pieces and we're done. So I'm not wearing a mask. but I do put a lot of burlap ribbon in my harvest tree. So you guys are going to see me wearing a dust mask during some of the time lapse that I'm going to do on that for, because you know, that's going to be a good amount of time with burlap, so you just want to be careful and be safe. So here is my swag again. So hold on real quick. Let's make sure I get a good shot for you guys here at the workspace. Okay, so here's my swag. We've already fluffed it out. I'm going to work with it vertically. So I'm just going to make sure I can put these 6 in here evenly throughout the middle. And then we'll see if it's too full or too empty, and then we'll add or adjust as we go. Because right now there's not going to be any glue involved, and if you place something that you don't seem to think looks right or it looks a little uneven to you, take it out. So here I'll show you the first one. We go here. You're going to lay your piece flat, and then you're just going to start pinching in the middle with your fingers and gathering it up to pinch it. And here you have, it almost looks like a little bow. So what we do is we're going to take it and we're going to just place it between 2 of the evergreen little mini branches, I guess. And then I'm going to twist it twice. So this is what it looks like after you place that in there. So it looks a little flat right now, but we're going to be adding things, and then the rest of this is going to be other pieces of evergreen. We'll push things around and get things moved around. So I'm just going to add the 6, and then I'll show you guys, and then we can actually reevaluate then and see if we like what we've done. Just going to place them sporadically. Some are going to be off to the left, some are going to be off to the right. Because remember, this swag has a couple little extra arm branches that come off towards the side. And because of how big these are, I think 6 is going to work out just fine. There's also smaller mesh. You know, they make mesh rolls about this big. Burlap rolls, same thing. That might work out better, but I'm going to make this a pretty large piece. I want this Scarecrow to be substantial. I want him to look really great and full. So I've got an idea, and I'm hoping that everything else I've got planned for it's going to work out. Here's just 3 pieces. So you've already got your ruffle in there. And again, remember, a lot of this may be covered up by the time we're done. But that's part of the purpose of this. And then also, if you don't really want to spend, you know, to put some of the better, more expensive mesh or burlap in because you're going to be covering it up, just find something that's more inexpensive, and then you know you can use that because you are going to be covering most of it up, and then you don't have to really worry so much that you're putting your more high quality mesh or burlap into your project. That's why, honestly, I was telling you, this is from Walmart. I have there's something out there called paper mesh, and it is really, really pretty, but it is more expensive than your average mesh. It looks more similar to, like, I like to say basket weave, I guess. And actually, here, I'll show you guys a roll of it. It's really, really cute. Here's an orange roll here. This is paper mesh. I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up so much. It has almost like raffia sort of look to it. You can tell when they say it's paper mesh, you look at it and you can tell it kind of looks like it's like a really thin basket weave, or it's made out of raffia, something like that, a more natural look. This would work out really well too, and I think these are 10-inch rolls. Yeah, this is a 10-inch roll. I got this from craftoutlet.com, and this was $8.75. So yeah, when you're buying mesh, this is more expensive for a mesh roll than your average regular mesh. But that's also a really good alternative if you're making the piece for yourself or a friend or a loved one. You want to put something a little bit better in it. Remember, most of it probably by the end of this is going to be covered up, but I'm pretty confident that the majority of this, some of it's going to show, but it is serving us, it's going to serve a really good purpose in the end. So here are 6 pieces, and I'm not going to add any more. I think if I put one up here at the top, and at the bottom might be a little bit too much. So this is what we got. Here's the swag now. I've got 6 pieces of 11 by 11 cut pieces of burlap. And then this is what we're looking at. So now look, you can't see through it. Remember before when I was showing you guys you could see straight through it? You can't see through it now, so this has added more substance. It's got thicker, it's bulkier. We've got a lot more stuff to glue things to. We've got a lot more space to work with than before. So that's just your added little pieces here to make sure that we can put all kinds of goodies in here, because you're going to need this to glue to attach to. We need it to be thicker. The piece will hang like this. So next I'm going to start on the Scarecrow. And this is the guy I'm nervous about because I've never done this. This is a wreath kit. I've never used a wreath kit before, so let's see how all this works out. So here's all my pieces. Oh, and his legs are almost like suede. I hadn't opened it yet. It's really, really cute. 2 arms, legs, and a head. And then all his little raffia hair. And this little top piece here is very cute. 5-piece Scarecrow decor kit. And then here's what they had as their idea to show you when they put it in a wreath. And then there's all 5 pieces, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. So we're going to make his body is essentially going to be the fluffy part and a bow, and he'll look like his stomach is all fluffy with flowers and ribbons, and it should be extremely cute. So that's their idea of it, and that's, or at least the packaging. That's how they put that in there. He's got a little wooden nose too. I didn't know that was wooden. You guys can see that. His nose is wooden. Isn't that cute? So they've already attached all the wires for you on the back of all these pieces. And it's pretty straightforward. We'll see how we're going to do this. Also, placement's going to be important too, because we're going to need to make sure that we space him far enough away from each other that it looks natural. So his arms are wired here too. It's just a little stuffed arm with his little. I'm sorry, it's just over the moon. This is so cute. I love it. And his little legs and feet, and his legs have little patches on it of the matching plaid shirt, I guess, sleeves, his sleeves here. So let's see, let's pull these wires out. Yeah, they're secured and they're pretty good too. I mean, you know, this stuff is all made in China, but this is really good. It's a nice quality. This itself I got on craftoutlet.com. I got 2 of them just to see, and he was $11.96. So for the size, I didn't realize how big he was going to be either. For the size, that's a very, very good price for how big this guy's parts are. I mean, I didn't realize exactly how large this was going to be, but it's very, very cute. I'm very excited about it. So let's see how we're going to start this here. All right, so since we're going to be working with this vertically, we want him and we want his head to be towards the top, but I don't want it at the far top, because this is too spindly. This is where we're going to have more room to insert picks and flowers and stems and berries. Those types of things can go up here. So I'm going to start to where I want him. I'm just going to put this in here. I mean, again, guys, I haven't tried this yet, so bear with me. We'll all learn together and see if maybe anybody out there has already done something like this with a wreath kit. Throw a comment down there. Let me know for my next one. Or while we're live right now, I'll keep checking for comments. But I have never used a wreath kit before. I've added different pieces to things that have come separately, but they've not been wreath kits. Like these witches' legs right here in this wreath. That wasn't necessarily a kit. It was just more like a really large pick. It had, you know, it was both legs are connected to one stem, and you place the stem in there. So this is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So I want to place his head more towards the top half of this, but we still want to see. Yeah, so his legs will be more down here at the base, Yeah. So I just kind of put him about, he's about a foot, 12 inches. He's about a foot down from the very top. So I've also got more room back here to secure him to the wreath, or the swag. Sorry, guys. So here's one of the side pieces of wire that they already have here. I'm going to take this and wrap it around. Here's this right here is your main piece. If you guys can see, this is your main piece of your swag. This is the beefiest part with all the secured wire and wrappings. So I'm just going to do like a rough couple twists on this side. I'm not going to make anything permanent yet, just in case we need to undo it and move them around. And then here on this side, I'm going to secure this one down around here. This side, and let me see how he looks. He's looking a little crooked, so that's why I didn't do that. I'm going to undo this one and move it to this branch. So this one is the right side, and I'm going to take it off of here and put it on this branch here. So this branch comes out and this branch comes out from the top. I need to put this right one on this side, so I'm going to undo it real quick, which is why I only twisted it like 2 times, so I didn't have to continue to untwist it. And I'll move it over here. I mean, it's really nice that it's pre-wired. A lot of times, if they're not, you got to cut holes and put pipe cleaners in, those types of things to secure things down. So it's actually pretty refreshing that this comes to me already wired on the back. And this is a really good gauge wire. This is pretty thick and nice. So, all right, now I took the middle piece here on the back of his hat, and I'm putting that around the top of the center base. So you got 3 pieces in the back of his head, left, right, and top. So put the left on the left, the right on the right, and now I'm securing the top here. And I'm just gonna, I just twisted it twice, and then I'm going to bend it down. Bend it down. And then here's my right one. And I'm running like this wire right here is running right through the middle. Can you, I don't know if you guys can see, this piece right here is running right through the middle of that burlap. That's fine, because we're going to be gluing to it. We're going to be securing things to it. So why not, again, maybe we put that in there for the purpose of getting it to have something to hold on to. So it's already doing its job. So here so far is our guy's head secured on. So far, this is what we got. And I'm also always known as I adjust things, and I fidget with them constantly, even though we're going to be flipping it over, moving it, things are going to be bent and the wires are going to get messed up. It's just, maybe it's a crafter's hands issue, I'm not sure, but that's normally what I do the entire time. I think I'm going to do his, well, no, I'll do his arms next. We'll see how much, I want them to stick out enough. We'll see. I'll keep looking at this little picture here. They've got his arms kind of downwards on this picture, so let's just see how, let's see how ours turns out as we place them in here. I also don't know how far in I'm going to put them. I think I might want his arms closer. Can you see how he's kind of taking shape? I might want his arms a little bit higher up. Let's see how that looks there. Yeah, I'm going to put his arms up closer to him here, and then I'll attach his legs to come out this way. Maybe I can bend them, make it look like maybe his. We'll see if it turns out like he's got one leg bent, or he's got his one leg over his other knee. Let's see how this all turns out. So I'm just going to wire this to the center. This is going in right directly on the center. do here is also twist this side. And this is actually much thicker wire on his arms here, so I'm going to grab my pliers. And I'm just going to put some twists on it right here. Get that secured in like that. Alright, so there's one arm. Let's get that up there like that. Okay, so see here, I have attached his arm right here. All this metal right here, this big long piece of wire, that's part of his arm. So let's get arm number 2 on and let's see how even we can make it. Oh, now see, this one's moving a little bit. That's actually coming out some. I'm going to throw a little bit of glue right here in this piece of fabric, just to secure it. Oh, my glue gun was on low. Let's put it on high. And then I'm going to press it in there. I just don't want that to come out, so I'm gluing that piece of fabric strip there. If you see in the middle, the wires were really coming out of that. So just going to finish the seam a little bit. The other pieces were really nice. So far is the head and his one arm. And then here, let's see, the legs don't move. No, the legs are fine. So just that one. Not bad. Not definitely fixable. So we got that one taken care of. So now I want to put this arm probably right about here. So far he's taken shape. Got his arms on. So let me wrap this one around this. And then also on the back here, when we're done, I'll show you guys. I like to take things and use other pieces of like leftover scraps of silk or leaves, or mostly it's the leaves left over from the stems of the flowers that I cut off. And I use that to cover up a lot of the behind the scenes. So, I mean, this right here, there's going to be a good amount of wires back here, and we don't want it to scratch our doors or windows or wherever you're going to be placing him. So we don't want that to interfere too much with you know, keeping whatever this is hanging on. We don't want him to be, you know, destructive. So there's our 2 arms. Got the 2 arms on. So he's kind of still taking shape. We're going to have a leg come here, because I'm going to put a big bow in his belly, and then we're going to put some flowers and some things coming out all around. So let's see about these legs here. The whole entire thing, this wire goes from the top all the way to the bottom. I can feel it right here is where it ends. So this whole thing bends and moves and shapes. So once we get him in there, let me see where his little leg patches are. We can actually, we can bend his legs around. I'm just pushing these in and sliding them in. They're no way near secured. I just wanted to make sure, you know, to see what he looks like, to see if it's proportionate. You know, I don't want him to have a crazy looking body, even though this whole thing is crazy cute, right? Hold this up like this. Let's see how this goes here. I don't know how I feel about it. Let's see if I can put his legs like this. I don't think they're going to look right if we put them too close to the middle. Okay. I'm going to put them lower to the bottom because there's going to be a bow I'm putting in the middle of here. And the bow is going to be more to take on as though it's his actual body. So I'm going to put this guy down here at the base, one leg here. And he's got some pretty long legs. But that's where I'm going to secure this one first. And then since this swag, all swags come to a point at some point, whether it's a teardrop or a regular swag, these legs are going to be secured on at the same spot back here on the base. So after we tie the wire, you can actually probably still use zip ties or more floral wire and or what's the word I'm looking for? Pipe cleaners. Zip ties might help more also. And then, I mean, if you're when we're completely done, you can also use glue. If you don't want to take it apart and you want it to be permanent, use glue. Throw some glue on it, and then everything should look pretty permanent once you do that, because these wires are very thick. They're pretty substantial, so. Let's see how this works out. I don't know how, I don't really think this part of the swag here is looking right. Okay. Let me see how this guy looks here. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Oh, you can't even really see. Let me see right here. You guys see that? I don't know how I feel about that. That's wrong. I think I might need to put his legs higher up. I don't know, is it looking right to you guys? It's not looking right to me. I don't have anybody really on right now. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they need I don't think it looks right, so I'm gonna move it. Here's part of the trial and error piece, guys. This is where you get to see exactly how things are done when I've never done them before. He's really cute so far. I just didn't like his legs just didn't look right to me. Something was up about it. I'm also just concerned I don't want to put them up too high, because then it's going to look like he's got, you know, his body's supposed to be the fluffy part. This is supposed to look like a really cute tummy. It's supposed to have a cute little tummy on him. Alright, let me see if I can do this one closer, maybe over, coming out on this side here. Maybe it looked like he's kind of pushed into a big bale of fall leaves. Somebody was doing some, oh yeah, there we go. If I bend his leg like that, coming out, can you see that? That's gonna, okay. Now I'm happy. Now it's going to look great. It's going to be exactly the way I was thinking it would. So we're going to make it come more out of the center. So his belly is going to look basically mostly all ribbon, because I got some pretty nice ribbons over here. Just pick some out of my fall collection I already had, and I think I am going to zip tie this to the back too as well, and then we'll cover it. We'll cover the back pieces with some fall leaves, those types of things too. So you're not seeing so much of the, well, you're not seeing so much of the behind the scenes, or what we call the mechanics, or the quote unquote ugly parts. No one wants to see that. I like to make the backs of all my projects look nice. So I mean, even as the creator or even the purchaser, if you want everything to look nice, then it should be. I like to make things look nice from all angles. You don't really want to open up the back of things and see just exactly how some of the stuff turns out pretty ugly. You don't want to see some of that. And a lot of times it's not pretty, so you don't want it to show anyways. There we go there. So we're going to place some like that. So right now, there's his belly. He's laying in the middle of all this. We're going to put lots of leaves and stuff on the back. Leaves and picks and those types of things in there. So let me stretch here to get my zip ties. Got this pack at Lowe's a while back. It was pretty inexpensive. I did not write the price on here, but it ends up being about 4 cents a zip tie, so we're not breaking the bank really. So let's try with these zip ties first and just see. I don't want to move any of these pieces. I'm actually in love with where he's placed right now. So I'm going to take my wires here and I'm going to bend them downwards towards, these are his leg wires. I'm going to bend them down. And if you see here, this is what I've done. I've taken the wires from his legs. I'm not sure if you can see them. There's one right here. And I've secured him around this piece here. So both of his legs are secured here and here. And then the pieces of the wires, there's 4 big thick pieces of wire, all this wire here. I bent downward and then I've zip tied it. So here, excuse me guys. Right into my glue pot. Not good, huh? Okay. Let's see, how much did we get glue on? Not bad at all. All right, I gotta lift you guys up some. It's a little bit too much. All right, sorry about that. I got the zip tie here on this piece. And that's where that goes there. So I'm gonna clip off that part of the zip tie. And leave that there. Now there's a good amount sticking out there that could potentially scratch something, but like I said before, once I'm done, I'm going to flip him over and we're going to cover up all of the back of this with different pieces of leaves and wires, leaves, maybe some flowers, depending on how small they are. You don't really want huge pieces. Just something that you can either, and if you cut, you have to cut them off of another stem or branch or bush, that's fine. That way you can lay them flat down on the pieces that you want to cover. So these zip ties and these mechanics that we're using back here, we don't really want any of that to show too much. So I'm really happy with this placement. I'm going to go ahead and continue to twist all these wires. So sorry about that, guys. So sorry. That's part of, I guess, part of doing things live, right? That could have been pretty tragic because my glue pot's right here and that's my cell phone, so that would have been, yeah, that would have been bad to have hot glue all over your cell phone. I may need to look into a alternative, maybe move you guys to another spot or move this glue pot, but I don't even know if I can do that because I like to use things on the right, so we'll see. We'll see how space allows, or what space will allow, but yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. That's not a good thing. That or I need a new tripod. Just zip tying this one more time. I got these 3 here. This is the back of his head, so I've got 3 wires to attach to. And then remember, cut off enough to leave. You want to leave maybe a good 1/2 inch of the zip tie over so it doesn't come undone from itself. Some of this burlap's going to do a good job of covering up our back pieces too, so I think everything looks like it's going to be pretty much a-okay. Put that here. No, I need him to come through, so I'm going to leave it the way it was instead of messing with it. So here's the back one more time. Here's all the zip ties. You can see here that, sorry about that. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them on there. And we're going to cover all that up because there's also more pieces of wire still on here, here. You can take your glue gun, shoot some glue on it. I'm going to do that once I cover those up. So I'm going to just turn them back around. Make sure he's still placed right. Everything looks good to me. Alright, so I think now I'm ready for the bow. Let's just make this guy a really cute bow. Put my zip ties away. I've chosen 3 different ribbons here. Let's see if we're really going to need to use them all. I definitely like this one because this one is very fall. Can't go wrong with plaid. He's got plaid on his arms and his legs. I'm not really worried about competing plaids. I like putting all kinds of things different together, things that you wouldn't really expect to be together. That's part of making things look different. So I just cut a dovetail in the bottom of that, if you guys can see there. That's folding it in half and then cutting diagonally into the crease you've made, and that creates a little V pattern there that is called dovetailing, or some people call it chevron. I am going to use 3 different ribbons, and I'm going to make it by hand. I have a Pro bow that I absolutely love, and this bow isn't going to be as large. So I don't want it to be overpowering, although sometimes I have a tendency to put a lot of ribbon in things. So what I'm going to do here, there we go. What I'm doing here is I'm just getting all my ribbon. I got a little glittery, orangey polka dot with burlaps, and then this is my new ribbon I got from Sam's Club. It's kind of got a little metallic coppery golden, or no, not gold, it's like more coppery brown. It's a really pretty ribbon as well. I like to cut at least the one side before I start. That way I only have one other side to cut once I'm done. It's just a habit, some people. If you have a pattern, stick with it. If it works for you, it works for you. I don't really think that anything you can do is wrong in our line of hobby. It's really not going to change pretty much the end result. It's just how you feel and you're comfortable with getting to that end result. If it works for you, keep doing it. And then if it works for you and people see that, they might try it and it might work for them too. I always say it's the best thing to learn from each other, since I've learned a lot of things from other crafters, watching YouTube videos, watching tutorials and Facebook Lives. We all learn from each other, and that's the best part of it. So here I've got my 3 ribbons, my 3 spools, and I'm going to just start with the largest. This is 2.5 inch ribbon. So I'm going to just try to guesstimate how big I want to make my first tail, because again, I don't want this to overpower him too much. So this tail here is about, let me find this one. Let's see. 6 inches. So this is a 6-inch tail. I'm going to try to make 6-inch loops. What I do is you're going to pinch it and gather it there. And this is one-sided ribbon. It might look like it's two-sided, but it is one-sided. This side is this has a different pattern here. So I'm going to keep this with the flow. I'm going to take a loop. To me, I'm just guesstimating this loop looks nice to me. We'll see. If any of you guys want measurements, let's see. This is a 5-inch loop, even though I did a 6-inch tail. To me, I like the way that looks for the 2.5 inch ribbon. So you pinch that there, and then you take where you've pinched it and you twist it like that. So now when you're making your second loop, you're working with the front piece of the fabric. And then here's where you can kind of just start gathering with your back fingers and look to see, is that even? And no, it's not. It's not even yet. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because a lot of bows are very forgiving. This is all wired ribbon. So I'm going to stick with this. This looking really good to me. we're going to be adding 2 different 1.5 inch ribbons to the bow. So I'm going to keep this, with the loops this size. And I'm going to do 4 of these. So 2 on this side, so gather, twist, and then another one here, gather it there, twist it one more time because we're going to cut the tail off there. And then what this is going to end up being is, I'm going to guess, you're going to guess as to how long you want this other piece to be, because I'm not going to leave it attached to the spool. It would be too difficult to work with because I'm still holding everything in the middle. I'm just going to cut this off a lot longer than I know I'm going to want it. Maybe not crazy amount long because I don't want to waste too much. And I'm just going to hold this one this way for now. And you can go on to your second ribbon. I'm going to use this little glittery polka dotted orange ribbon. So I'm going to start the same way, kind of using it next to it instead of on top of it. We'll move it once we're done holding it. So I'm going to make this ribbon here this way, twist it, make another loop, pinch it, and twist it. I'm only doing 2 loops on these 1.5 inch pieces because the four loops for the 2.5 inch ribbon is going to be pretty substantial. And again, I don't want it to be too overpowering for him. I want to still be able to put a good amount of ribbon, a good amount of flowers and berries and picks and other things in there. I have a couple grapevine pumpkins that I think that might work in there somehow. They look really cute, or at least just one of them. So same thing here. I'm taking this with a tail I think I want, and I'm pinching it in my fingers, making a loop, twisting it, make another loop, decent size, twist it, and then cut that off. So here you've got your smaller ribbons on the side. You're going to gather them with the other hand, pick them up, and place them on top of your 4 loops of your larger, wider ribbon that you just made. That can get tricky. I've many times let go too soon and completely, all my bows have just unraveled. The best part is that if they do unravel, you've got the pinch marks in your wire. So you have at least a guide to know how big you made the loops and how where the size and the spacing was on the ribbon itself if something should happen and you accidentally drop it. So I'm going to take a chenille stem or pipe cleaner here and just wrap this right around the center and then twist it on the back maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times. And then that right there is just to get it really tight in the middle, so you just keep holding it on the base and twisting, twisting, twisting. And then here's the magic part where you get to just mess with it and mess with it and mess with it. It looks a little sloppy right now at the moment, but once we put him inside the Scarecrow's belly area, it'll turn out and it'll start looking a lot better. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've got all these twists here on the back, I'm opening the 2 chenille stems and I'm going to place this down into the center right here of the Scarecrow. I want this to be basically his belly. So it's going to be just right through the center. If you find your placement to be a little different, just go ahead and adjust. If it looks better off to the right or the left, take that out and use that way, or move it down a little bit. We'll see how I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting through this one because the chenille doesn't go through the burlap agreeably, it feels like. I'm going to have to move that around. Okay, so I got my 2 pieces poking through on the back. I'm going to pull that a little bit tighter. So here is, basically there's a bow right here. We're going to move all this around and we'll get the bow to come more towards the middle. And then on the back, I'm just securing it around the middle. It's actually very close to the zip tie back here for his arms. But I'm going to take that and just start twisting it really close to the base. So you want to get a really tight, secure twist. And again, I'm not moving this bow, so it's going to stay right where it is. And if you notice, the project just fell down on itself. That's fine because we haven't really adjusted it. And even if your bows get a little smushed, that's why it's the best thing to have wired ribbon, because you can continue to adjust it and fix it and change it as you make, or as you go. So what I'll do here is I'm going to chevron these pieces. Dovetail. I had two, no, I got all three other tails that I haven't dovetailed yet. And one more here. So here we'll start messing with our loops. I'm going to have this tail come up this way. We'll move these here left and right if you guys can see the bow I'm working on. I've got loops coming left and right here. You've got everything wired together. You've got it all secured down in, so at this point it's no problem. You can start tugging on it. You've twisted the wire. We've twisted the wire maybe geez, 6 or 7 times on the back of it, a lot. So we know that it's secure, it's not going anywhere. And then here's where you can just start moving things around. You can get, if you can see here, I'm taking the orange and I'm moving it off to the side of the brown. Let's see here. And who do we have now? Glenda Hill. Hi, Glenda. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And just going to do that. Now we're going to add a lot more stuff here. So this is basically all there is so far. It's just a big bow, and then here's all there is to this guy here. And the ribbon and our Scarecrow. So if you can tell here, I wanted the bow to be more like it was his body and his tummy. And then now we're going to just start adding flowers and berries and picks and things. And so far I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, so first things first, I want to, I've got these picks. I don't know if I'll use, I've got a couple grapevine pumpkins, and then here's this guy. He's like a really muted, more of a soft look. It's a yellowish, greenish pumpkin. I like it. These are all Hobby Lobby. And I don't know if I'll be able to put, I think I might put this one right here over his shoulder. We'll see how that works out. What do you guys think? You like that? Got 2 pumpkins on there, if you can kind of see them. I think I might just put the 1 pumpkin on them. I don't think the grapevine really is showing up very much because of the brown. So I'll just put the 1 pumpkin on him down there. I like him. I put it right here by his hip. So I'm going to take those and put those off to the side. And then here's just some flower bushes I got. These all got at Hobby Lobby. This is another larger bush. Some of these sunflowers, these are a little bit too big. I don't know if I'm going to use any of them. I might use 1. But some of the other flowers in here were perfect. And then these little berry stems here. And that size flower is a good size. So you don't really want to put them too big in there, but and I thought this darker purple on this was really, really pretty. And then I like to add greenery to a lot of things. I don't want fall to be basically just so packed full with orange and orange and orange that you really can't tell what's going on. That's why I picked out this purple so much. I really, really liked it. And then there isn't much fall leaves in here, actually. I think that the plaids and the colors, I like the way they're turning out. I think these are going to look really good in there. So I'm just going to start cutting off some pieces at the base. You want to keep a lot of wire because I don't know how much I'm going to need to glue down in here. So I'm going to keep my wires fairly long. If they poke through the back, we'll cut them off. And then, like I said before, we have fall leaves that we will take, from, and we will cover the backs and the mechanics with those so that nobody can really see what's going on, and it also protects our doors. So I'm just kind of pulling these stems out apart, and then I'm using my wire clippers here to kind of pull more off from here. If you can see how the stem splits on itself. I'm just going to cut it right there. It's pretty thick. Now I know I don't need this much, but again, it's easier to cut more off later than to worry about how much you really needed or didn't need. So yeah, that's a really cute flower in here. I'm really liking that. So I'm probably going to use this whole bush, but let's just cut them apart here. And then I just went to Hobby Lobby and picked up some more different bushes and flowers. And if you guys aren't familiar, Hobby Lobby does every other, you know, this is fall. So this fall stuff, it's about 40% off. It's not uncommon for all of their holiday things to be on sale, usually every week. But their regular flowers go on sale 50% off, and their greenery every other week. So if you're at Hobby Lobby and their greenery and the regular stem flowers aren't on sale, and you can wait, go the next week, because they put everything on sale after that. Yeah, so I've got a good amount of these guys here. I'm going to just nestle them inside here and see how I like the things working out. Kind of want it to look like he's just bursting with flowers, bursting with fall, pretty colors. So I just place those all around the middle of them, and then I'm going to see if I like the placement, and then we'll glue them. So if you see here, he's got a good amount coming out left, right. On the bottom, here's the pumpkin. I'm going to leave that pumpkin there. You kind of turn them a little bit inward. I think it looks kind of cute. I like how it's just kind of almost looks like wild grass, you could say. So what I'm going to do here is, you see exactly where I have it placed. Okay. And I'm going to cut more of this off. I don't need this whole piece here. This one's going to give me a little bit of a problem. If you can see, this stem is really, really thick, so a lot of times you have a lot of upper body strength or leverage, whichever comes better. And then again, earlier, as you guys saw, my phone almost fell in my glue pot. If you peek here, let me move my hand. Right down here, there's my glue skillet. And what I do is, for florals, I absolutely love this glue skillet. I just kind of wrap things around in the middle, get my strings ready and off, and then I take it and I place it right into my piece of work where I know I want it to stay. And then the glue dries, and this guy stays right where you want him to. And that was the emergency earlier when the tripod fell and the phone was going to go in the glue. That would have been very, very bad. So, I'm really sorry about that, guys. Really sorry. See if I can move my... I just don't want that to happen again. That was really scary. Okay, so there is more adjustment there. I've glued that one in, so now I'm going for this next one. This next one's kind of falling apart a little bit. If you see here, this is their floral tape and the way it was made. I'm literally just going to douse it in the glue skillet, nice and glued and hot, really, really hot glue, if you could see there. And then I'm going to place that right back in here. Get that down there, so that's not a big deal. I do like the placement of that pumpkin, and I absolutely want to have a pumpkin in this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and place that pumpkin right back there over his left hip, I guess you could say. I'm going to cut most of the stem off. Again, that's a pretty good stem, so I would save that. You can use that to stir glue or hold things down if they're a little bit too hot. So we're going to douse the stem in glue. So there's the glue, and then we're going to take it and place that right back down in there. And the glue is adhering to his leg. It's adhering to the burlap that we added to it. It's adhering to if it's touching any ribbons. So your pieces, once you put them in, are secure. They're not going to go anywhere. And I did smush the bow already, so you guys will see me adjusting it again and again. Okay, this piece is a good length. I don't need to cut it any more than I already have. Put a good amount of glue on it. I'm going to place it right back in here where I had it. And as far as the florals, I don't really have any patterns. I just sort of eyeball things, and these are really long pieces, so I know I want them to stick out the furthest, so I'll put those in first. And then after that, you can kind of guesstimate, you know, where you want more shorter pieces. Like these flowers over here, I'm going to cut much shorter. We put those closer to the actual piece. We're going to put them in closer to the base, and then you'll know you have not necessarily symmetry, because I don't think anything has to be symmetrical, at least in floral arrangements, in my opinion. I have no training. I didn't go to school. I just do what I think is nice and what I like, what I think is pretty. So if it looks good to you, or if it seems the way you, I mean, if it looks good and you're happy with it, and it's working out to the way you figured it would be, then you really can't go wrong. There's no wrong way. Nature, a lot of these are wild flowers, I guess you could say, and if you're going for a more natural look, even though you're using artificial flowers, go with what makes you happy. You know, if it looks good to you and it brings a smile to your face, continue it. Because I mean, a lot of times that's what these arrangements are for. You put things on your doors. You can come up to a door when you're walking in, or you know, you see it in your kitchen, on your pantry, or on your front door when you're walking in. You just came home. It makes you happy. It looks cute. That's what it's about. So I'm just adding all of these pieces in. So now all this is glued in, and so far this is what we got. So we got a little pumpkin coming out on this side, the bow, and then all these other flowers are sticking out here. It's kind of big. So this is a pretty big piece. It's a pretty substantial piece. He's got a little bit of weight to him, but not too bad. We're only going to be adding some more flowers, maybe a few berry picks. So that's what we've got so far. And now I'm going to see, whoops, now I'm going to take a look to see these flowers here. Oh, I got a little cattail in there. I didn't notice. That's really, really cute. So I'm going to put a couple mums in there. I think that's not a daisy. I don't know what that is. And maybe one of these smaller sunflowers. So what I do is I take, you know, you get all these extra leaves on there. I push those up towards the top of the bud when I cut my pieces off from my stem. If you choose to not use the greenery, you can always pull it back off the bottom, and then that's what we can use to cover things up on the back. So I'm just making sure everything's still okay down there. And here's where we're just going to take things and just start sticking them in. If you glue them first, then you're not going to actually know if you really want that, you know, do you really want that piece over there, or do you really want that? So it's just start placing things where you think they look nice, or where you think you would want them. And then I also guess I really need to be mindful of covering up too much of his arms. But this arm over here is pretty close to not showing. So I'm going to have to try to adjust that somehow. I don't want to cover up that arm too much, so I'm not going to put a flower over there. I'll put this flower here by this pumpkin. See, these larger flowers are covering up a lot more of his arms. His arms are a little bit shorter. So I've got this guy here, and then this one I was putting here. Put a little mum here under his neck. I don't want to put too much in there, but at the same time I want it to be full. So it's a catch-22, right? So let me just take some smaller pieces. I also need to put some stuff up by the top of his hat up here too. So let me look for some smaller pieces up here. There's another one. I'm not going to use any more of these sunflowers since they're fairly large. But I am going to take some more of these mums. And this whole bush says $15.99, but I got it for 40% off. Hobby Lobby is great with those kinds of promotions. I'm not going to add that just yet. I also have this little, and there's a little bit, I'm not sure if the camera's picking it, but there's a little bit of like fuchsia pink in there. And it adds just a little bit of, it just adds a little bit of different. You know, it just doesn't have to be the status quo or the norm for what everyone thinks is fall or Thanksgiving. I like to make things just a tiny bit different. Add something in there you might not expect, like even like a black and white ribbon. Add some chevron or checkered pieces of ribbon into those things and see how they look. And again, I'm going to just place a few things here and there. I'm going to put this guy right down in the center of the bow, so it looks like that's coming out of there, and I'm really liking that. So far I'm getting happier with this. His arm over here is still sort of being covered too much, but once you get him on the door, we can start arranging things to get him a little bit closer to the way you want him or the way you like him. And then nothing says you can't put some things on the side, you know. I mean, when you're looking up and you're walking up to an item on the door, you're going to see things on all angles. You're going to see pieces from left, right, top and bottom even if you're a little bit shorter than some. Some people have that a little bit shorter, a little bit taller. You don't really want to just put everything on top. You want to be able to mix it all up. I know I had another one of these, so I'm going to take this guy here. That's the last one. So I've got 3 of these in there. I'm going to put them up by the hat, up here towards the top. Glue that down in there like that. So I got some good depth up here. So now I'm pretty sure I'm liking the placement on these flowers. All of the extra flowers that I added in here. He's got a pretty good size bow. His belly's working out really good. So he looks nice and full. Got my little pumpkin over here, some more flowers popping through things. I put this one down here in the center of the bow, and I'll show you guys. We're going to glue that literally right to the bow, the center of the bow where we made it's basically where the center of the bow is, where all the ribbon comes together, and we put the pipe cleaner. So it's going to adhere down in there to that pipe cleaner and the ribbon. And then remembering where you pulled the things out of, that's kind of like a harder part of that. You just have to remember, take them back out one at a time, glue them back down so you know exactly where you put them and where you're going to place them again. That's just how I'm practicing. That's how I do it. At least it's the easiest way for me to remember exactly the placement of where I placed something. And I got some glue on the, it's off my finger now. I got some glue on the leaf here from the glue pot. So I'm just pulling all that out. Also, the glue pot is extremely hot. It's basically a skillet. I mean, it's the equivalent of like an electric skillet for your kitchen. But it's obviously on a much smaller scale, and it's not meant for food. But I know a few crafters, and I've seen some tutorials and Facebook pictures, and follow some people that have bought kitchen skillets, the large, big kitchen skillets, and put the glue in it, and it works just fine. Especially if they have like a high output, and they're using and it's always on, and the heating element might go out in it. I've seen a lot of people that will buy the kitchen skillets. I haven't yet. This was my first experience, so I bought this craft skillet on Amazon, and for my floral arrangements, when you're doing this type of thing, it has worked out so perfectly. I couldn't be happier with the skillet. Although just now I almost lost my phone into the glue skillet, so I may need to rethink the placement. Now I'm taking my pliers on this one, and I'm just bending the wire on this stem of this flower. I'm bending it upwards because I want it to mesh more on top of this pumpkin here. So I just took the stem piece and bent it upward this way. It's still glued in, it's secured down underneath, and I bent it a little bit just to get the placement of where I wanted it to be. So I'm just going through, guys, and adjusting the placement of the flowers and putting them not willy-nilly, but placing them right where you would want them to be. I'm concerned with it being a little bit too full or a little bit too busy, but I'm going to wait for your guys' opinion so you can tell me what you guys think. And then maybe for the next one, I have one more of these kits, and I just wanted to make this guy with you guys because I've never done any of this before. Just wanted to see how it would turn out. So I want to get this one done. I'll take the pictures. I'll put the pictures on my Facebook page and Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, you can head on over to either one of those. The links will be in the description above. And you can take a look and then, you know, give me some feedback. Let me know exactly what you guys think. If you have another idea or a better idea of placement, I really wanted to do a swag, so I've seen the swags. I think they're really cute. It's not just your average, you know, circular wreath on a door. This guy right here, I wanted to have, I wanted him to be a little different, you know. I just wanted him to not be your average. I wanted him to be a little bit not normal. It's the best kind. So it looks like my bow has migrated over to this right side of him when I put the pumpkin on that side. So again, the evolution of your project changes as you make it. I hadn't planned on that, but so far I'm still liking what I see. And that's pretty much half the battle, right? Let's see if I have more. I think I've got 3 more pieces to glue in, and we'll take a look and see if I want to put some berries in here. I think all you need is a little bit of dimension, but I think berries might actually just be the last little bit of this, and it would be perfect. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm doing here, if you can peek under here. This is the bottom, or the underside of the ruffle that we put in, and then here's some more of the evergreen pieces. I'm going to glue up the end of my stem here in the glue pot, so I've got a good glob on the end of that, and I'm going to place it right down into the piece of that. And I'm not shoving it all the way in until it stops, because you might push it all the way past the back of your project and it hits the table you're working on and you realize you really haven't glued it to anything. I'm just placing it right on top of, I know I'm stopping it right where I need to, so it's secured itself to this bottom side of the ruffle and the top side of my evergreen pieces under here. And so this piece isn't coming back out. It's not completely dry yet. It's still tacky, I'm sure, but it's not coming out. So if you ever worry that maybe, oh, it's not glued in enough, or if you're making this piece for a loved one or as a gift or even to sell in your own business, you're worried about pieces falling apart, just put enough of your glued ends. Make sure you've got contact with something, you're going to be a-okay. It's not going to fall apart. Hot glue's pretty much more than permanent sometimes. I mean, I've had other projects that I've later decided to change. I've recycled a lot of my holiday wreaths in the past into other things, and I have literally had to rip them apart in order to get pieces off of them. And these are things that have been on my front door for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they've been through sun and dirt and rain and weather, and you would think that they would fall apart a little bit easier, but the that hot glue just won't let go. So there's lots of times I've had to really put some elbow grease into it to get things to come apart. So here I'm just going to tug on all this little stuff to make sure I've glued everything in. So let me show you guys what we got here. So far, this is what we're working with. I'm not sure if you guys can see him that well. After that little glue pot mess up, I'm going to definitely rethink my room here. May have to have a rearranging party, which means my husband gets to come and do all the work mostly. But this is what we're working with so far. I want to push his legs in a little bit more, but he's got a really big bow in his belly, some flowers. I want to put some more stuff up top here. It seems a little bare to me. Towards the top, some more flowers up there. We have to see what I have. Oh, I have the purple ones I haven't put in yet. Let's do this. these guys. This little really pretty, this is more of a plum purple. Not sure if you can tell so much from this light up here, but these are a dark plum, and I think, oh yes, that's perfect. When I put the pictures on, after I take them, I have studio lights that I take my pictures with. You'll be able to really see the color in this. And this is a really gorgeous purple. I also got it in a yellowish orange, but I specifically wanted these, and see that one I literally just pulled off. When you start to pick some things off of the projects, they come apart really easy. You don't even need clippers after a while. These are also Hobby Lobby. And the stems are a little bit softer. It's just a different type of, I almost want to say it's not felt, it's almost foam. It's almost like foam. I'm going to start. Yes, okay, I already like that. So I'll show you guys in 1 second. I'll glue this one in and then I'll hold them back up again so you can see. This is very much, yeah, I like that a lot. Put him right here. You can see this is where the purple piece is. It's sticking out right here next to these really bright orange flowers. So I'm going to just sprinkle those guys throughout. And Linda's with us. Hi Linda, thanks for joining. I appreciate your comments and sharing some time with me today. It's very nice. And thank you for the compliment. Makes me feel good. Thank you so much. Here I just want to place a bunch of these throughout. And same thing as before. I just want to start kind of placing them and sticking them in. And then if for some reason something just doesn't feel right or look right to you, take it out and move it. It's not glued in yet, so it's actually very forgiving. Yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm just going to glue that one in right there. Found something that I was extremely happy with, and I'm just going to start gluing them in right as I see them. That's really good there too. Oh, and see, this one's coming apart a little bit. The floral tape that they use from the manufacturer, once you start ripping things apart like we all do in the craft world, nothing stays in its original form. Things start to kind of unravel a little bit. Got enough glue from the glue plot there. See, that's a big glob on there. That's going to go right straight in on top of that burlap ruffle we did earlier. And then we don't have to worry about it. And all of this is wired too. These purple guys are wired so that if you have to move things around, or you find that you need to, hold on, I'm having a little bit of problem with this guy here. Let me push him in there a little bit more. Okay, now see, that didn't work out. So what I'm going to do is, okay, that's not too hot. I'm going to cut more of this stem off, and I'm going to re-glue it. It was a little bit too long for where I wanted to place it, so it was sticking out too far. So now I'm going to go back in here and push that right back into the same spot, which is basically on top of that burlap ruffle that we put in. So that's why we wanted to have them in there, so that we have more opportunity to glue more things in. If we had just used the swag by itself, it wouldn't have worked out too well, because there wasn't much for things to hold on to. So far this is almost done. I'm going to keep adding these purple things all around. Yeah, this is working out really good. I'm excited about it. At first I thought maybe it wasn't going to work out because I felt like I was covering up too much of his arm over here, and that might still be the case on the one side, but I think once I get him on a door, I can kind of push his arm up a little bit here. Once I get him on the door and I take pictures of him, I have a feeling it'll be okay. So if there's things that concern you, if this is like your first time and you're just worried about, your end product, I don't know if it's really going to be like an end all, because so far with everything I've done, even if I've been really concerned, or there's times that I've absolutely just disliked what I've made completely, someone else has fallen in love with it. And, everybody doubts themselves. I've made lots of pieces that I was concerned about. They weren't anyone's style, or, especially if you make a piece as a gift for someone else, you kind of worry, oh, are they going to like it? Does this work for their home? Are they just going to be nice and tell me it's beautiful? And then later I'll see it in the donate pile. Or I'll walk past it at Goodwill because you guys donated it. Something like that. It's kind of like a natural, what? Self-doubting mechanism. It's not anything that I don't think anyone else has also gone through the exact same thing. I think I'm pretty much not alone in that. I think a lot of people, you know, what's the saying? You're your own worst critic kind of thing. It's definitely not something that I think I'm alone on. But I was concerned with it. I'm becoming more happier now with this purple color in there. It's really making me happy. So I'm just going to keep placing some of these guys in here. And then I'm going to put some purples on the top. I don't have much around his head, and I'm concerned that it might look a little strange, but I really think that it will be fine only because I wanted the major focus piece to be his tummy, where we put all of the bow, and, you know, the focal point would be that, you know, this guy's been rolling around in a fall flower patch and, you know, not doing his job of scaring the crows away. And basically his new job is now making your door look beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to place these up here and see how that turns out. And I know I said before, place it up there and then look at it, but I'm gluing this one in. This one feels good to me. I like the way this has like a little cork to it, that it's not, that part's not wired. The stems are wired, but this top piece is not wired. Let me put one more on there and then I'll pick them up and show you guys what we got so far. Let's see, is this too long? Let's see if I have a shorter piece. I'll cut this one a little shorter. And then see what I can do on this side over here. Yeah, it's looking good. It's getting kind of big, but the wreath kit itself was already a big piece to begin with, so this isn't something, if you wanted something small for your door, this isn't going to be it. This wreath kit was already big on his own. I mean, his head's pretty fluffy by itself. It's a really good sized little stuffed piece. Well, which one did I have for that side? Oh, this guy. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Yep, that looks good there. And let me put this in, and I'll show you guys what we have so far, and then I'll see what you guys say of how many people I got on here. Oh, not many. Okay. So let me see. I'll place this guy in there and then see what you guys think. So I have to hold him further back because he's such a big piece. And see, so far this is what we got here. So he's got a really big belly, he's got a pumpkin, his bow is in here. The bow's a little more of an accent now at this piece because some of it's getting kind of smooshed. That's what we've got so far on this guy here. He's got a lot of stuff sticking out towards the top. These pieces here look really good. I need to add, I think I need to add some more flowers somewhere at the top. Maybe something out the side here at the top. You still have a lot of the evergreen showing, and as much as I didn't think it would show, you can still see those burlap ruffles that we put in order to make sure we had things to secure to. So far it's turned out pretty good. When I've never done this. This was just a let's see how it turns out kind of thing, and so far so good, right? I mean, this hasn't been a complete mess up just yet. And of course there's always the well, if I don't like it, my mom will love it. Well, she's my best and biggest fan. She loves everything I do, and that's probably because I'm her daughter. But I think that's probably a prerequisite, right, guys? Let's see here. And what do we have here? Linda says he's stunning. Thanks. Perfect, Linda. I needed some feedback. I appreciate that. Every once in a while, I just worry that I've done too much, put too much in. Some of it I can take out, but most of the stuff at this point, what I've done on this guy so far, it's all permanent. Nothing can come out at this point. It's all glued in, and he's not moving anywhere. So I think I got a good amount of little sprigs and stuff coming anywhere. The only other thing I could think I would add would be maybe some berry picks, but I'm really liking the way it is now. I really like this deep purple that's come into it with the bright orange flowers. I want to put them on a door. But I don't. Oh, I didn't put the hanger on the back of them yet. I make the hangers for most of these, and I put them on my wreaths too. I make them out of a really thick wire, and I don't have it with me at the moment. It's almost like a braided wire that is made out of. It looks like natural material, almost like this pick here, but it's really thick gauge wire, and I just basically make a loop out of it, and I twist it to the back, make your loop, do more twisting, and then wrap that around the actual piece in the back so you actually have a little loop, and it holds on really well. Similar to, here, I show you in the back of this guy. This guy right here. See here? This is the loop I made. This is the material that I was telling you about. There's a thick gauge wire down inside here, but there's a natural binding that's wrapped around this wire. So I basically made a little S shape and then wrapped it around itself and then put it in, I don't know how to explain it, guys, like a slip knot sort of type thing, and then just wired it around itself. Oh, and then also here you can see, this is how I cover up my mechanics. So you've got a few pieces on the back here so that if I had wire or other things on the back that would scratch your door or scratch things, this is how we put them on there so that things don't really get too unattractive, you could say. But this is the type of loop I make for almost all of my wreaths, and for this swag in general, I definitely have to make it for this one. So I'm going to do that later, because right now I think I'm pretty much just done. I'm going to take another picture of this guy to show you guys. Oh, here's what I had. These are the berry picks I was talking about. These have a lot of green and some other things in there, but I'm not really feeling the way they look. I'm not going to put them in. I think I really like the way he is right now. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. And what I'll do is I'll definitely make my loop, and then I'm going to cover up the back with some fall leaves so you don't see all these zip ties and all these other things back here that we don't really like too much. And then here's the chenille stem from the bow. I'm just going to literally glue fall leaves on the back of it. And then I'll put the hanger somewhere here in the middle, probably closer to the top up here. And then this is pretty much our guy. This is what we've got. Thank you for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate everybody who stopped by. And if you're watching the playback on YouTube, I appreciate you guys too. Thank you for watching and giving my channel some support. If you have any questions later or comments, please send them to me. I'll be notified that I have them. And then so far, so good. Again, I'm very sorry about earlier with the slip when my phone almost fell in my glue pot. That's a little bit of a scary situation. I'm really sorry about that. And it won't be happening again. My next couple, basically going forward, you guys may see a different angle of my table so that I can avoid that from happening again, because that was really scary. So I guess that's part of doing a live, right? These are the things that could happen. So again, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to have some more fall things planned. I had a subscriber on YouTube request a cornucopia arrangement. I'll be doing that one next. And then after that, if you guys also have any other questions or requests, I have some fall wreaths I want to do with some pumpkin signs. I'll be doing a couple of those. But other than that, if you have a request, send it to me, message me, put it in the comments. And then I'll do my best to see what we can do. So the next time around, we're going to be doing a cornucopia or a wreath. So that's about it today. Again, I really appreciate all of you. And have a wonderful weekend. And going forward, a wonderful day too. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.